Hey y'all, my name is Angelica from the Math Magician Bookkeeping. I'm one of the students in Bryce's coaching program, and today I wanted to share with you my number one tool that I use within my bookkeeping business to help communicate with clients, to get my bookkeeping tasks done, to do reports, and to do my business advisory services. So, what I am talking about is an app called Keeper, and this is specifically designed to do everything that I just told you about. So, I have used other items in the past. I've used Monday.com, Asana, some other like task management software or apps, if you will. And those are more geared towards like working with your team, and I don't feel like they really were what I needed because I don't really have a team. But I do have clients that I like to communicate with. And there was one thing called Client Hub, and it allowed me to communicate with my clients about certain items. But that was kind of outdated and wonky. So I found, like I said, this app called Keeper, and it does all those things that I had just mentioned earlier. So, for one, if I have questions about uncategorized expenses, uncategorized income, transactions, what have you, I'm able to put that all in a client portal and ask my clients those questions, and then they're able to access that client portal and answer those questions at any time. And so it's really nice because I can actually pinpoint the exact transaction, and it already puts all the information of payee, amount, the transaction number, so on and so forth. That way my clients are able to see in full detail what I'm talking about, and I don't have to send out a bunch of complicated spreadsheets or anything in particular to just communicate with them on that. It's also a great thing to use for file keeping. So if I have a client that I need them to upload statements, they can just upload it into Keeper, and then I'm able to access those statements from Keeper, and they're put in a secure file or a secure location where I don't have to worry about anything happening to them. I don't have to pay for a Google Drive subscription. I don't have to pay for a Dropbox subscription because Dropbox was getting outrageously expensive and not even doing what I wanted it to do. So having this is super helpful to be able to help with that. And then not only that, but it allows me to get certain bookkeeping tasks done, and not just my normal tasks, but it goes even more in depth, and I will show you what I'm talking about here in just a little bit. I'll give you a demonstration of kind of what the Keeper app can do. But it makes you more thorough and more cognizant of things that need to be done as a bookkeeper instead of just categorize and reconcile, you know what I mean? And then not only that, but it gives you all kinds of cool management reports that you can send to your client and be able to offer business advisory services, quite honestly, because the way the reports are done in a way that is super helpful to kind of look back and compare certain periods in time, and in a visual way. Like, you can do graphs, you can just have it to where it shows like a percentage of what was made or not made within a year. So those things come in handy quite a bit, and you're able to pay more for those business advisory services by just being able to go over those reports in a way that your client can understand. So anyways, I will show you what that demonstration looks like. And if you're interested in getting this for yourself, I think you have a free trial, but if you wanted to pay for it, I believe it's like $10 per client. I only have 3 clients of my own in there right now, just because there's some clients that don't need to be as detailed and I don't need to communicate with them as often. But the clients that I do need those files and that data from, I have entered in there. And so it's $10 a client, which really isn't bad compared to other things that I've used. But if y'all are interested, I do have a discount for if you sign up. So I'll put that link in the description for you guys. But I hope that y'all enjoy this video, and if you want to see more videos about this app or anything else, just let me know and I can create kind of a more detailed video on how I use Keeper in my daily tasks for my bookkeeping. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. All right, everybody, so this is what it looks like whenever you open up Keeper on your desktop. So you'll actually see a list of your clients here. I have them blurred for security reasons. But you see this one that's green right here? This shows that every item is done. I've reviewed the transactions, the accounts have been reconciled. So now I can actually close this account in QuickBooks and move forward. So you can see this one here, I'm kind of in the pre-close setting, but I'm a little past due on certain things. And then this one here, I have not even started an October close. So it's showing September 22nd right here is the last time that I really looked this over. And that is because there are certain things that I'm doing with this client that I have not really had a chance to really even get their October stuff reconciled, because they have invoices all the way back from January that I'm trying to get reconciled. Same with this one here. There's certain things in progress that I'm trying to do, but they have a lot of accounts payable from way back when that we're trying to get figured out at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these clients and show you what it looks like. So let me go ahead and click here. Okay, so now I'm actually in the portal, and from here you can see every task. You can put items in here that may not actually attribute to the close of that month, but these are actual items that can pretty much that you can use as a reminder. Like, I have this set up to where it repeats pretty much every single Monday, where I'm entering in bills from Train, which is one of the vendors they use. And you can see here that I have this assigned to Chris. This is my husband. And so whenever there's certain tasks that I have him do, I will have him do that. So this is basically making sure all transactions in the bank feeds are coded or categorized. I can kind of put this information in here so that way he sees exactly how to do it. You can put comments in here, you can put documents, you can edit that, you can change the due date, you can change it to in progress, so on and so forth. You can change it between me and him. So these are the only two employees that I have right now. Then you see here, this is going to be an every month close. So Keeper looks at it from like a monthly viewpoint. So this is showing me all of the accounts that need to be reconciled and the last time that they were actually reconciled. Now, the reason this is like this is because, like I said, there's a lot of stuff in the accounts payables dating all the way back to pretty much January that we're still trying to sort through. And so that's why some of these haven't been reconciled to a certain point yet. You can see what the balance is. I could put documentation in here of like a reconciliation thing. If I wanted to add an attachment, I could do that. I could also put a comment section in here. I had to blur this out because it had their account information, but this will not be seen by your client. So if I wanted to leave a comment for my husband who would be reconciling their stuff, I could say, hey, hold off on reconciliation, or so on and so forth. But what's really great, and something that I kind of don't know if I touched on before, is all of this is connected through QuickBooks. So this is giving me information from QuickBooks, and if I change certain things in here, then it's going to change it in QuickBooks. So I will show you what I mean by that. So this is where it starts to get really cool and really helps you figuring out certain errors. Is this has this transaction review thing. You can see that it's green because I've already gone through this and looked it over. But what's really neat is it will show expense inconsistency. And I'm going to see what this pulls up for me right here. So I'm in a different account right now because I wanted to show you what it looks like when it's not done and all the different things that you can choose to do. So this right here will show any transactions in QuickBooks that don't have payees listed to them. This shows any uncategorized transactions. So anything that has been listed as uncategorized, ask my accountant, any type of miscellaneous account, this will show that so that you can figure out what those certain things are and be able to code them correctly. Expense inconsistency, this actually shows if like QuickBooks has been coded to accounting software, but then there was another time that QuickBooks was coded to like office supplies, then it'll show that expense inconsistency and let you see, okay, well, this actually should have been categorized to like accounting software or something like that instead of office supplies. Then you can change that and it will change it in QuickBooks for you. This, I don't necessarily use it, but this will show you any transactions over $1,000. And that way you kind of get a better idea of the certain like big ticket items that really need to be focused on. This one, transactions coded to parent accounts. And then this one, expenses and bills without attachments. This is really useful. Like if you have a bill that you're entering and an attachment needs to go with it from that specific vendor, this will show you any of those that have things without attachments. So let's go ahead and look at this first one here. Okay, so this is now showing me everything that has any transaction that does not have a payee listed. So if I scroll up right here, you can see the vendor or payee and how there is nothing there. So this says from A&M Supply Corporation. So if I wanted to, I could honestly go in here and click Add New, and I could put A&M Supply Corp, if they don't have that as one of the categories actually listed in QuickBooks. So if I actually go back, I'll actually be able to see all of the vendors they have in here. So it doesn't look like they have this, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then that way, and this is going to be listed as a vendor. This is where they're getting certain supplies from. And that will go, and now that vendor is going to be there, and it's also going to be listed in QuickBooks. We have other things here like this Rugby Holdings, this Worth Wood, Taylor Toolworks, so on and so forth that I could do. But let's say like I don't know what this is, this check number here. So what I would do is I can ask my client, and I can ask, what vendor is this for? And I will add this to the client portal and show you guys what this does later. So now it's saying waiting on client for that. But basically you just go through all of these and figure out what they are for, who the vendor is, and be able to put that vendor or payee in that. Okay, so now we're in the uncategorized transactions tab. And this is showing us all of the categories that have anything to do with uncategorized. I could even put in here like miscellaneous, and this would show me anything from that, miscellaneous income, so on and so forth. Ask my accountant. And so now you're seeing this show up, this other miscellaneous expense. So you can see that there are a lot of these in here that they have probably coded before I got a hold of their stuff, and they just don't know how to code some of these items. So like this probably is going to be fuel or something of that nature. And what you can do is you can come in here again, ask your client, hey, what was this for? Add to client portal. And I will show you what that does later. But this really kind of gives you a breakdown of every single uncategorized thing. That way you can make sure it is not uncategorized, because you do not want anything to be left uncategorized before tax season. All right, so now we're looking at expense inconsistency. So you can see all of these things in here that are listed as inconsistent, and I almost guarantee you a lot of these Amazon ones are going to be left as inconsistent. So what's really nice is you can do this little drop-down box. So now I'm looking at this drop-down box for Amazon. So this is saying this is the payee. Amazon is coded to uncategorized expense 63%, supplies and materials 27%, and cost of goods sold 4% of the time. And so it will actually show you here the ones that were considered cost of goods sold and the ones that are supplies and materials, and there's other things. So let's say, yeah, Amazon is kind of going to be a mixed bag. You don't really know. You can come over here and exclude it from the list. That way you don't want to see Amazon ever again. Or you can come up in here and put edit excluded list, and we could say I don't want to see anything from Amazon, and apply that, and now I will no longer see anything from Amazon. But I do want to see everything from Amazon because I want to make sure that there's no uncategorized expenses in there that are left unsolved per se. So now we're kind of looking at more vendors and customers, so on and so forth. I don't use like all of these newly added ones, but I do like to look at duplicate vendors and duplicate customers, because there could be something within QuickBooks that is duplicated, and there's no point of having that when you can just merge them together. Okay, so here's a good example. I'm in duplicate customers right now, and it's showing me there's an Autumn Crawford and there's a Jason and Autumn Crawford. So these, I actually know from working with their stuff, they are one and the same. So I could honestly go into QuickBooks and be able to merge those two duplicates together. That way, there's not just one for Autumn and there's not one for Jason and Autumn. So it really helps get rid of a lot of errors and those duplicates, so on and so forth. So you actually have to do that through QuickBooks, but this at least kind of gives you a good idea of what to look at. Now this one is super nice to have because this helps prepare 1099s. So this is showing me all the vendors, how much has been spent from year to date. You can put in the address, what their EIN number is. If a 1099 is needed, we're not going to need to pay Verizon a 1099. But if there was a contractor in here that we really needed to get a 1099 sent to, then we would say yes. We can make sure that we have a W-9 on file. We can ask the client any information. We could even ask the vendor some information, but we would need an email for them. You could upload files here of a W-9. We could go into QuickBooks, send out those 1099s and put, yes, it has been filed. This is a really good way to be able to keep up with that and just make sure that there's no mistakes being made. So now we've moved on to additional items where you can add any task that you would like. So I can just add pretty much anything that I want in here. Task name, task description, I could have it with a little checklist where each little thing gets checked off. I can assign it, like I said, to my husband or myself. So that's super helpful to be able to have those additional items as an option in there. And then final review, you'd look over the profit and loss balance sheet, statement of cash flows, accounts payable aging, and accounts receivable aging. So let's go ahead and click on this. And I absolutely love this. I love being able to see the variances in these reports. So you can actually expand it to an account level, to payee level, so on and so forth. But right here, I'm able to see between July and September the total amount of income. I'm able to see how much was spent on cost of goods sold. And it's telling me how much was actually, like, if we went down, if we went up, so on and so forth. So this is super helpful to realize, like, okay, yeah, maybe we spent a little bit more on meals than we should have, and really gives your clients a really good idea. And this is where you can really get into business advisory and be able to charge more for your services whenever you're able to offer things like this. And whenever you have a system set up that can just pull these numbers together without you having to actually manually do the work, it makes it so much easier. And then, like I said, you're able to charge more for it because having that information for your clients is going to be super valuable. You can even choose if you want certain things to be marked or not, and you can choose to send it to your clients as well. Okay, so this is an account that I have everything done. Any question that I had for a client has been answered and resolved. Any questions from the client have been uploaded and resolved. Any vendor requests, there weren't any, but you can see everything is now marked with a check mark because everything for October is done. So this is actually accurate because I actually am no longer doing anything with Venmo. This was the last date that should have been reconciled. So this is showing me the last time that these were reconciled, which is the actual accurate dates according to the bank statements. And then we're able to see that, yes, everything I have gone through here and everything is selected and good to go. And it just makes things super easier. And then I have this metrics that I'm going to pull up for you guys. So this is another really cool way of being able to look at everything. I clicked on metrics here, and I'm looking at the profit and loss, and I'm able to see how the price has changed throughout the year. So I'm able to go, wow, you've really just been going up and going up. Looks like April and June were your best years, and you can kind of go through and ask them, like, is there anything specific that you were doing around these times? And like, what was involved? And this really helps, like I said, with the business advisory, to be able to break down and identify exactly what was done, because they may have changed something that didn't need to be changed.
and they could be making this amount. It could just be the timing of everything. Like I know for us bookkeepers, everything gets really busy around tax time. So it could have just been one of those things where this is an actual like fitness company, and maybe they just had more people that, wanted to get slim for summer. So you never know how that goes. But this is really nice to be able to see it like that and then be able to see it even as a graph. I can add this graph in here and kind of choose the variables that I want. And then I can run that and it will actually show me a little graph that I can actually give to my clients as well. I can show them like, okay, this is the difference between your PayPal sales, like your subscription and website sales, also versus, let's see, what was it? I think Venmo. So the subscription income was fading up until recently, and then everything else has been kind of consistent, and the Venmo sales was a little up and down, but it's really awesome to be able to show this information to your clients. And then you got your reporting over here. So some of this information is blurred because it has my client stuff on there, but you can upload their logo, you can upload your own logo, you can give them a table of contents showing the profit and loss balance sheet, so on and so forth. And so whenever they're looking this over, you can give this to them and it's like a really fancy, nice report that is all taken care of. So you got your profit and loss, the balance sheet, statement of cash flows. You can even show your top 10 customers, top 10 vendors, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and look at the client portal here. So remember the questions that I had earlier? Well, I can send them in a client email and it will actually come from my specific email address. But basically what I would do is put new questions email, and this will let them see, hey, there's some questions for you to answer in the client portal. And the reason they do this instead of sending out each question one by one is because we could have gone through that whole entire thing of uncategorized expenses, and there could have been like 25 different questions we had that would have just been like notification, notification, notification. So this is really nice that it actually gives them a chance to log in, and you are able to do it with your specific logo, your specific information. Like I said, it comes from your actual email, so it's not like any spam or anything, which is really nice. And if I had this contact put in here, you'd see their first name, last name, their number, their email, and then if they have financial access, which is access to the reports that I was showing you, they have files access, if they're able to access the files that I upload, like any attachments, if they're able to send me attachments, it'll show if they accepted the invite, so on and so forth. And I can even put reminders enabled. That way, if it's been like, I don't know, a day or two, it'll automatically remind them again, like, hey, can you send out or can you answer these questions? And so this is really nice because it's got this email templates here. So let's say this is the first time that your client is going to be using this. You can give them an intro email that says, hey, this is the client portal. This is how you log into it, so on and so forth. Here's something about your new reports. Here's something about da 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 da. And then I also have a phone number that is set up specifically for this Keeper app, and it will only send out text messages. I can't receive messages back. It will actually have to go through Keeper, but I could send it to their phone number and then be able to go, here's the portal. That way it's easier for them. And then also resources that I could send them, so on and so forth. So the client portal is super helpful in that fact of being able to answer some of these questions. And this shows those transaction questions that I had for that specific thing. Like, remember the Greyhound lines? I was like, hey, what is this for? What vendor is this for? And so this is showing waiting on client. It'll show if it's been responded, resolved, so on and so forth. So that is one of the things that I really love about it. And then also in my own stuff, what's really nice is in my own stuff, I can have it to where it's branded specifically to me. So the current name is going to be my business. I can have my logo in here. specific tasks that I want, certain things that I'd like to do, files, statements and reporting, what color I want them to be, any legal disclaimers that I want, file reviews, so on and so forth. So it's really nice that it caters to you and your brand, and so it looks professional, like it came from you and not from like some third party thing. You can add users, so I could put a new user in here if I got a new employee or like an assistant or something like that, that they would be able to have access. But yeah, this is my information and my husband's information so that he can log in as well. If I had a employee or someone doing subcontracting work for me and I wanted to enable time tracking, I could have them do that. I could do work streams, a work stream for my actual firm. I could do what the client rates are. That way I know exactly what's being billed per month. And then I'm able to kind of pretty much identify if a change needs to be made. I mean, I know that every month anyway through QuickBooks, but it's just really nice that I'm able to see it through here as well. This is also really nice, this client info here, because I can see properties. If I had all of that client's information in here, I can see details. So I actually have their bank login sitting right here. Any other notes, any files, and like it says here, it's not going to be seen by a client. So it's going to be internal for me and my team only.
As always, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please do not forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And if you feel like Bryce could help you in your bookkeeping business out, then click the link in the description below to book a call with him. And then also, don't forget to click that link if you want to sign up for Keeper and get a discount for that. So thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video.